Hello and good evening. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Chipakupaku. I guess in Chipakupaku it's about 21:30. Here in Calgary, Alberta, it is 21. It is 1:32. So we have about 8 hours time difference between Chipakupaku and Calgary. Thank you for joining me today. I have Mr. Norman Chipakupaku, also known as General, in our discussion today. And so I expect that we are going to have a great time, as usual, a great time. And so I'm going to let you share with as many people as possible. This is TV Bakwetu, Elias Munsha here, coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, from our law office here at Munsha Law. Okay. I have Mr. Norman Chipakupaku. I'll let him say hello. Now, what I notice here, General, is that you have a necktie on. What is the occasion? You rarely wear neckties.
Well, I do. Today I had Zoom meetings and training sessions, and I had to keep my tie on. And the other thing is, first of all, good evening, Zambia, especially good evening, Chipakupaku. I should have started by saying that. And I should also say good evening, Chipata, my home, and good evening, Mumbwa. Now, I wear ties. My job requires me to wear a tie and suits every time. But because of COVID, that's why I'm always dressed down. But today it was a special day. I had training sessions most of the day. And I also realized that you're working. So I didn't want to let you down, Musha.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So me too. Today is definitely a full working day. And so I had to make sure that I dress up a little bit. Tomorrow I'm in trial, some kind of a trial, but we hopefully are going to win. I am suing the government of Canada. So tomorrow we have a lawsuit against the government of Canada, against the Attorney General of Canada. So we're going to see how that goes.
Good luck.
Now, some of the topics today, General, you see, when you're talking about things of a soldier, I usually defer to you. I don't like interfering with things that do not concern me. Today's topic is on law. So I don't want you to interfere with how we understand the law. If you have any question, you better ask me, and then I'll give you an answer. Do you think that's fair?
Munsha, you are the lawyer. I'm not the lawyer. I told you last week, if you are looking for a soldier, I'm the soldier. And if you're looking for a business specialist, I'm the business specialist. You are the lawyer. So you take your law role.
No, but people are so mulibafitala. That's the problem. That's what I found. Even when somebody is trying to explain the law, you want to dispute and deny and deflect, thinking that the law is like the army or something. Okay, so I just want to set that thing very clearly. Anyway, I hope you printed out the petition. Did you print out the petition?
I did.
Okay.
Print it out, and I've read it many times. Very interesting. And when we had the Bill 10 discussion, I brought out the issue of Article 52. And I think we are moving to Article 106 now, which is very, very interesting.
And so if you have any questions for me, I'm ready to answer, okay?
Yes, the first question really is that who amended the nomination form, the form?
Why do you need it amended?
No, I'm saying so because for John Sangwa to go to court, it simply means somebody tried to amend the form.
It's just a form. You can amend it anytime.
But there's certain clauses on that form which should be constitutional, which should follow the law.
Says who?
I suppose that's what the lawyers say.
That's why, you see, I'm a very, very pragmatic. I think you and I share one thing in common. I think we want to see Hakainde Hichilema win the presidency. Am I correct? in thinking like that?
I just don't want HH to win. I want him to win with a landslide.
Okay.
Convincingly win. I should win convincingly in a free and fair election.
All right. So on that one, we agree. And then secondly, we agree that the PF government is corrupt.
There is no doubt in my mind the PF government is corrupt, and they have to go. There's no question about it. By the way, it's 8 days to go before we have the PF government gone. There'll be Parliament will be dissolved on the 12th.
And you agree with me that it's a government of thieves?
Totally agree with you, because the cases are there and the records are there, and they are a bunch of thieves.
And you agree with me that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema stands a very good chance of beating any contestant in August?
I totally agree with you. In a free election where there's no violence, where there's no intimidation by the cadres, clean election where there's no raiding of ballot box, polling stations, peaceful election, he's going to beat any contender clean. That's all right. There's no doubt in my mind.
So then, the only difference, okay, that we have, first of all, it was from our previous discussion, was when you say that you would like the army to be assigned to go and flush out the cadres. My answer was no. I think let's not use the army. Let's continue using the police, okay? Most of the listeners, I think, agreed with you. I concede. That's fine. They agree with you, but for me, I would rather use civilian means. Civilian and democratic means. You only bring in the army if our country is at war, okay, with international, particularly international enemies, you know, such as Malawi and Congo.
Malawi, I've told you, Malawi will never try and raid it.
Of course, I know. Of course, I know. I know that. I know that, but we have an army anyway. So that army is to protect us from the invasion of Malawans and the Congolese, the Katangese. Okay. That's where I think we need to use the army. But some of our listeners here, they want to use the army. I don't think that's appropriate. For me, I want to use the police to go after these gangs and dismantle the gangs. Okay, that's done. Then the issue of presidential eligibility, because that's a hot issue. You think that Edgar Lungu is not eligible to stand in August. Is that correct?
That's correct. He has been sworn in twice. He has been elected twice. So he can't stand. In my layman's language, he can't stand.
Okay.
He should not stand.
All right. And so my position is that's a waste of time. You see, General, it's a complete waste of time.
Well, if it's a waste of time, fine. Let's have a free and fair election. Let's beat him clean. Let's not have violence. If he thinks he's very, very popular, that he'll be more popular than Chiluba, let him come on. But no use of violence, no use of cadres, no pangas. Let's get on with it. But
yeah,
after the elections, that's when we probably will revisit the constitution.
All right. Okay. So for me, my position has been the Danny Pule case decided the matter. And so because I'm quite a pragmatic person, right? I'm very idealistic, but also quite pragmatic. My pragmatism is the one that tells me that the idea that Edgar Lungu is going to be disqualified between now and next week, chances are zero.
Wow. Let's see what happens, because I think some people like John Sangwa, State Council, and many other lawyers disagree with you, Musha. So let's test it. Let's test this the waters between now and the day of the filing of the nominations, and see what happens. And for me, if he qualifies through the Concord, let's take him on in a clean election.
No. The issue is that the Corn Court has already ruled, and this is what I like talking about. You see, the Constitutional Court has already ruled on this matter. So,
Mr. Munsha,
it's a waste of time to be litigating this matter. What I want to see is that your efforts, my efforts of every Zambian, of every boot on the ground is directed towards explaining to the people of Zambia how corrupt Edgar Lungu and government are.
Mr. Munsha, I'm not a lawyer and I will not pretend to be one. I think you've got a principle in law that you cannot shave somebody's head when it's not there. Lungu was not mentioned in that first case of Danpule. How can they make a judgment of somebody who was not named in the case? So that's my take. He was not named. It was a theoretical question, which was amended by the Concord, and they cannot then make a judgment of somebody who was not named in the case.
Yeah, no. So that is where that's where the issue is. I don't think that some lawyers who are prosecuting this matter are being very truthful or very forthright as far as this question is concerned. It was decided in the Danipule case. It's a waste of time. It is time for us to move on to something that is going to actually make a difference as far as August is concerned. I think that's my opinion. And so we've seen this petition. It's already in the Constitutional Court. It's a petition where the petitioner is petitioning an affidavit, the fact that an affidavit has been changed. We know that this issue is in court, and I wish the lawyers that are working on it all the best. As far as if you ask me for an honest opinion, okay? You ask me an honest opinion. This is very unlikely to succeed, in my opinion. I don't know. I can't go into details because it's in court, but it's very, very unlikely to succeed. There is something that I'm very sure will succeed. It is the people of Zambia waking up on August the 12th and vote out the Patriotic Front. Deal with them once and for all and get them out. I think that is what is going to work.
That is going to happen, whether the petition goes through or not. The fact is that on the 12th of August, very early in the morning, I can see people queuing up like they queued up in 1991, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, to make sure that by 2 o'clock the job is done.
All right. So I just want to see whether we have any questions from our audience regarding the petition. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of discussing this petition because apparently it's sub judice or something like that. Here in Canada, we discuss court cases all the time. There is nothing like
we don't want to be sued in Zambia for discussing something which is already in court.
Oh, suddenly now you are not going to soldier on. I thought you were taking the fight right to the.
I'm prepared to be sued because I've discussed a general principle here, which is a constitutional right to talk about my constitution. I've not discussed the case.
Right. Okay. That's understandable. So I'm going to see whether there are any questions here. So we do have the petition that has been filed today. That has been filed today. And so if you have a general question, but as far as I'm concerned, from my own perspective, any petition that tries to challenge the legal validity of President Lungu's standing on August 12th is likely to fail. It's not likely to succeed. Okay, that's why for me I think it's a mere sheer waste of time and resources. Okay, I know that there's others who feel otherwise, but that's fine. Gibson. Gibson is saying, is it a legal requirement to amend the nomination form by ECZ? So what is the question exactly, Kalei? Is it a legal requirement? The Electoral Commission of Zambia can change affidavits and nomination forms at any point, right? An affidavit is not law. A nomination form is not law. Okay, it's an administrative form, right? And an administrative form does not supplant the substance of the law. It is not superior to the Constitution or to statute. It's a form. That's what it is. So I hope that is clear. Did you get that, General?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
The affidavit is an administrative form, but yeah, in my view, that the affidavit should not violate the Constitution.
Yes, at least yes. So the affidavit should not violate the Constitution, but there could be instances where what is stated in the affidavit contradicts a fact. Do you know what I mean by that, General?
I do.
Okay, so if, for example, Kenneth Kaunda were to swear an affidavit.
Yeah,
he can swear an affidavit that his father was a Zambian, when factually his father was not a Zambian. That's what I mean when I say an affidavit, you can actually swear on an affidavit something that is not factually correct, but it is legally correct.
Yeah, that
would not probably go either way. But anyway, so this is where the question is it a legal requirement to amend the nomination form by ECZ? ECZ can amend the nomination forms, and the rights to contest in the presidency have got nothing to do with the content of an affidavit or the content of a nomination form. It has everything to do with what the law actually says about whether you qualify or not. So you can't disqualify a person on the basis of an affidavit. You can disqualify a person if they do not meet the Constitution's requirement. Right? Anyway, any other questions? Munsha, you are wrong. Here in Italy, the army are protecting COVID vaccine. So you want the army to go? No. Where we differ with General, I think explain to Oscar why we differ about the question of the army.
Can I try and explain to your audience, Munsha? The police is the first line of defense when it comes to domestic law and order.
Yeah.
They protect Zambians against criminals, domestic law and order.
Yeah.
Within the police, they're supposed to have a second layer of defense, which is the paramilitary. That's what they're called, paramilitary, which means half police, half army.
Yeah.
When the paramilitary fail to sort out the mess, you call in the army. In any country, that's the stage. Now, in Zambia, what has happened is that the police and the paramilitary are all infiltrated and mixed up. The paramilitary, in my days of training, they would never appear in the streets unless there's a serious problem. This time...
No, sorry. General, no. I disagree with that, because you became a soldier at age 16 in 1972 during the state of emergency under Kenneth Kaunda. And under Kenneth Kaunda, soldiers, the military, they were on the street. So I disagree with you.
No, it was state of emergency. What made it a state of emergency? Because we were in a war situation. We were surrounded by countries which were fighting us: Mozambique, Angola, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. So that time, the army was on standby 24 hours a day, because we're being raided left and right and center. But any issue to do with the public order, it was the police to deal with it first, followed by the paramilitary, followed by the army. But for instance, we woke up one morning, all the bridges had been bombed. 7 bridges, including Chongwe Bridge and all the... We didn't wait for the police to go. We had to go in. So at the moment, the problem we have, we are not in a state of emergency.
Right.
But the police have to deal with public order. And the police and the paramilitary, but at the moment, in the last 10 years, the paramilitary and the police are all infiltrated.
Okay. Now I do get you. I do get you when you say that you don't trust the police. What I'm saying is that we need to go back to the point where we actually trust that the police are able to confront these thugs and gangs.
At the moment, we don't. We haven't got that time, because you cannot separate the beans from the groundnuts in the police now. You can't tell who's real police and who's not real police. And we've only got Munsha. They've recruited in the last 10 years. They've recruited something like 5,000 new recruits. We don't know where these recruits are from. Are these cadres? Are they real police officers or not?
Yeah.
So if you find somebody in a police uniform, me as a trained soldier, I can't tell whether that is a real police person or just a cadre. I wouldn't tell.
So you expect then the commander-in-chief to ignore the police and send in soldiers? Is that what you are calling? You're calling upon the commander-in-chief to ignore the police and send soldiers?
Completely. If you saw what happened at their secretariat, and you saw the burning of UPND Liguriya 2 days ago. If you saw the videos I am seeing where they're preparing booths, and the police, they can't deal with the situation now. The only way they can sort out this, and I'm telling you from my experience, they only need 1 week.
No, but the gangs, we already know the gangs. General, we already know the gangs, right? It's the Americans, as they call themselves, and the gang at Intercity. You don't need a very sophisticated military operation to deal with this. But you can just call in Kamfinsa mobile unit, and they'll be able to sort out the problem.
What is the problem then? Why can't they do it?
The problem is with the commander. The commander is unwilling to confront them. So when you say that you're going to use soldiers, my only concern is that then you might give the impression that we need a military solution.
No.
What I'm advocating for is a civilian solution. And what is a civilian solution? Get the police and tell them to go and arrest these criminals if they have an offense. And also for the president to take his own decision as leader of the Patriotic Front to ban these militias within his party.
He will not do it, because the militias or so-called cadres are giving him an advantage. The advantage is to intimidate Zambians before they go and vote. So he can't order the IG. It's not going to happen. If I was the commander-in-chief, I would have fired Kanganja and got a new IG, but not to say this is your last mark. You can't say that. That's why I've said to me the last few days, the commander-in-chief has failed to command.
Yes. Now, the commander-in-chief has failed to command. Your solution, bring in soldiers. My solution, ask this commander-in-chief to man up and do the right thing and send police and get all these criminals. That's all.
He will not do it.
So what are you suggesting?
My only suggestion is that we have two options here. That the man mans up and orders it tonight, which can happen within the next 3 days. That issue of militias can be sorted out, or he does not, which I think he's not going to do it. Then we're going to have a mess during general elections.
All right. So then, to the government of Zambia and to the president, Chipakupaku, we are asking the commander-in-chief to act very quickly and sort out these militias and thugs in the Patriotic Front. It is not enough just to say that you've arrested them. What we want is for you to deal with the root cause of the problem at Intercity, in Chawama, and everywhere where there are these thugs.
Well,
Personally, I wouldn't want to involve the army. I would like to use civilian law enforcement to deal with this issue. And I think that we have the capability to deal with these criminals.
Musha, they should go and close Kamgodi tomorrow. They know what I'm talking about. They should take the cadres out of the bus stations, all the bus stations in the country. They should take all the cadres, PF cadres, from all the markets and make sure that the bus drivers are not interfered with, the marketeers are not interfered. Kamgodi should be closed. If they want to use the police force, which you think they've got the capacity, that is an exercise which can be done in less than 24 hours. But they don't want to do that because these cadres are being deliberately prepared to intimidate voters. They did it. They did it in 2016. They overran some polling stations. They want to do it again this year.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Frank Mwene, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Council. How are you?
Very well. Did you?
Fine, thank you.
Have any question? Yeah.
Yes, I have a question and a contribution at the same time.
Okay, go ahead.
How are you? How are you, General?
How are you?
Fine, thank you. To start with, I will start with the issue at hand right now, where you are saying the cadres should be disarmed and all that. To be honest, these cadres, they benefit the current regime, and therefore removing them, they can't remove them, because the truth is they know very well that these guys help them to win elections. They intimidate the opposition, they beat the opposition, they intimidate the electorate. So thinking that Ego1 is going to remove these guys is a non-starter. We are in the 11th hour. It's a non-starter. We're in the 11th hour. He can't.
So
then the other issue is,
what is the solution, Mwene?
The solution to this, Council, on my side, I think I would agree with the General. Maybe if we try to use the army. The reason why I'm saying if we try to use the army.
Why this is a contradiction? What you're saying is a contradiction. You are saying that the president cannot remove these cadres, but at the same time you're saying taking the army. The army cannot go to remove the cadres without a command from the president. So you are contradicting yourself.
Okay, do you remember what?
A soldier, and General agrees with me, a soldier cannot even stand at attention.
Okay.
A soldier cannot go and drill without the command of the commander-in-chief. A soldier can't fire a bullet or even load a bullet in the gun without a command. If a soldier puts a bullet in the gun without a command of the civilian administration, you know what that is?
It's an offense. It's a treason.
It's an offense.
It's an offense.
So General, this is a contradiction. Please clear it.
Can I clear that?
Okay. Before that, then let me go to the last issue. Then the other issue is I agree with you, Council Munsha, on the issue of eligibility. If you've been following this issue closely from inception, the current regime, including cadres who don't even understand the law and the constitution, they've been so confident that their president is going to stand no matter what. So thinking that there is a court in Zambia that is going to rule him out, we are lying to ourselves. The best way is, I would go with your way where you said we have to sensitize the masses that this man is corrupt and we have to remove him. But thinking that all those petitions they will go through and win, no, I disagree. Because including himself, at some point, he warned the judges, telling them to say, if you happen to imitate what is currently happening in our neighboring countries, you will put the country in turmoil. What does that mean?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Wayne. Mr. Chipakupaku, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. What I will say is, Wayne, I totally agree with you that these cadres are there to benefit the ruling government. It's part of the election strategy to intimidate the voters. Make sure that their strategy is very, very clear. They want you not to go and vote.
Exactly.
Yeah. Secondly, let me clear the issue of the army moving in. The more army cannot move in without the command from the commander. Munsha, I agree with you there. So we have got a problem here, because I agree with you, Mwene, that the commander-in-chief, will not do it, because these cadres are there to make sure that he remains in power.
Exactly.
So you will not order the police, he will not order the army. That one I can assure you.
All right. So then the best thing is for us to continue appealing to the president to act, isn't it?
Yes. But knowing the man, he will not act.
So then we are in trouble.
We're in trouble.
No, we are in trouble. We're in trouble.
That I disagree with. So we've got to continue speaking to the president to act and deal with the militias.
He will not.
How is he going to deal with the militia council when it benefits him? Do you know that this is not the first time? This is not the first.
You mean there is nothing that can be done about this militia?
Unless he is to be serious himself and come down to his senses to say this is not good.
That's why let's continue. Let's continue, calling him to account so that he acts and acts very quickly.
Council, do you know that okay, just a bit, Council. Do you know that this is not the first time the cadres are fighting right in the presence of the president? The last time they fought in the... Yes, so if that was really bad, that would have been the end of this militia thing. But it continued up to now. So what makes us think that in the 11th hour is going to change his mind and say, let's stop this?
No, I'm quite optimistic.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No.
I don't want to speak Nyanja.
Let's continue appealing to the president to say there is a huge risk here that we we will have violence.
Yeah.
So if he really loves this country, he's got the powers to order the police to go and clean Kamgod and all the stations. He has got that powers. He has got a choice either to ignore it, and then we're heading in for a big, big problem.
Yeah. Shemaya, okay, thank you, Mwene. Shemaya is asking me, why are you influencing Lungu to stand against the Constitution? I'm not influencing Lungu to stand against the Constitution. You need to be very clear. We need to make a difference between questions that have been decided by the Constitutional Court and this idea that we'll continue just going around the same things. This matter was taken in the Danipule case. The judges in the Danipule case decided the thing. All my role is to sensitize my people, like General Chipakupaku and several others, and tell them that this question has already been decided and Danipule decided this question. That's all I do. And I add something else. I say it's a waste of time, But that's what I do. So I'm not trying to influence Lungu to stand against the Constitution. This is not a very big deal, my colleagues. It's not an extremely big deal. The extremely big deal is the election that is coming up in August. We need to organize ourselves. We need to put our energy towards defeating this party in August. They've already destroyed so much. But if we begin entertaining questions that have already been decided, questions that are not a very big deal, we are going to be wasting ammunition on small game. I'm a soldier, via Mukulua, and instead of fighting and shooting at the soldiers, other soldiers, they begin shooting in the air. shooting in the air, Nempolo Polo shoes. You go to war, and instead of reserving your ammunition for real enemies,
no,
this is what is happening.
You don't waste ammunition on a sparrow when you've got an elephant to fight, which is true. The issue here is that let's look at the 2015 elections. Let's look at the 2016 elections. Let's look at the 2021 elections. The chances are that this election, whether Mr. Lungu stands or doesn't stand, especially when he stands, there'll be a lot of chaos, because he has already prepared for that ground. And this young man brought in a very interesting reminder. The president threatened the Concord. Yeah. He was in Solwezi and told the Concord, if you try and play the game of Kenya, there will be chaos in this country. What did he mean?
Okay, what I think is, if we went to a petition after August, a very well-argued petition, I think, and if there is evidence, the Concord will reverse. Let's assume that Lungu stands in August and wins on flimsy and frivolous grounds, and there is a petition against that election. I have no doubt that the Constitutional Court would actually reverse that election. I have no doubt.
Not that when that Constitutional Court has got judges appointed by the same player.
No. Even in Kenya and Malawi, all those judges were appointed by the president.
Not when you've got
the Kenya thing or Malawi thing can happen in Zambia.
Not when you've got your auntie in the Concord.
No, even auntie, you know. In Kenya and Malawi, it was the same thing. I think it's likely to happen. What we need, though, are lawyers, okay? What we need to concentrate on are not lawyers who are good with books. Nala mieva, pantu, General Chipakupaku, inemularandati indalandaranda. Let me tell you, when you are hiring a lawyer, hire a very pragmatic, practical lawyer. Not a person who is too intelligent, because when you hire a very intelligent lawyer, they will go and confuse judges. So you just need to be pragmatic and very practical. I think
we've got the elephant in the room here. We've got the violence, which is potentially there. The cadres are there. They are armed as we're talking now. They're at Kamgodi and the bus stations, and we saw what they are capable of doing. We saw that on Saturday.
Yeah.
And if that threat is not removed, then let's prepare for a terrible election.
Yeah. No, I think let's continue seeking that the president acts on this. Because saying that we have a problem, we need to act on it, and then saying that we can act on it without the president is making a very controversial suggestion. I just want to stay clear of that suggestion. You know what I mean?
I've made it very, very clear. The army cannot act without the president.
Yeah,
that's why he's commander-in-chief. We are just saying to him, Commander-in-chief, can you command your police, if you still have confidence in them, to go and clean up the cadres, and we don't want them to be interfering with elections. If you don't have the confidence in police, like what he said 2 days ago, that he hasn't got the confidence in the IG, let him send his army. The army will clean up in less than 48 hours. I know our army. I know our boys. They are disciplined. They will sort that mess out.
All right, thank you. Rose Limbrick, let any
You know, I'm just agreeing with whatever the general is saying. For me, I can go with him. You know why? Because what is happening in Zambia is not
acceptable.
Iyo Nshimikene, you know why? Because this is very difficult. Nshimikene, this is very difficult because what is happening, what he's saying is true. One, the police, they don't do anything. And then the other thing, if it was me, the president, if he wants a fair elections, everybody have to campaign. 2, 3, 5, yes. That way it would be fair. But this way, where Walungu is doing, and I just want to tell you the truth. Why Walungu is fighting like this? Because I saw a video, I won't mention the name, I know the people, they live in Kafiwe. They were saying that we are gonna fight and fight until we win the election, because when we lose, we know that we're gonna go to jail. So what they are doing, they are going in the village asking for people, give them money. That's why then in Lusaka, at the town center, whatever, Kamwala and bus station, they put the cadres. And I know people, you know me, I always talk with people. What the general is saying, we can't even know who is the real police, who is the cadre, who is the what. They look for big guys, hire them, give them money, and they become cadres. If Walungu will stand up and say, I don't want this nonsense. Whether you're my cadre, you are my friend, you live in my house, I don't want this, have a fair election. But that way, it's gonna be a chaos. It's gonna be more death in Zambia.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think we should continue speaking against political violence, because that's a very big threat. That's definitely a huge threat.
We're just pleading to Walungu to have a peaceful elections, because let them, the UPND, whoever is campaigning, do the campaigning and everything. 2, 3, 5. You have to just present yourself what you're gonna give it to them. If they don't see anything you have given to them, they say we're gonna go to this person. Look at here in the United States, we voted whatever, you know, but Walungu, it doesn't want to let go. Power is sweet.
Anyway, thank you very much as usual.
Thank you.
Rose, much appreciated.
Thank you.
All right. Robert Nirenda.
Yes, Mr. Musha.
Yes, Mulitiani.
Chipakupaku, me am Tumbuka.
What's the difference?
Muliuli Akuru.
General, General, Muliuli.
Ni Makora kwa Linamwe.
Makora. No, that's a good Tumbuka. General.
Enya.
Yeah.
Okay, so now before we let's divert a little bit, because many people do not know it's several different tribes.
Yes.
You know? But we like thinking at Abena Chipata Bonse, they think the same way, they speak the same way, and they look the same way. No.
Ask me, I will tell you that we have got my brothers like him who are the Tumbukas, Tumbuka Chomene. We have got the Chewas, we have got the Ngonis, we have got the Mamboes, we have got the Nsengas, Ayas Wakupeta Oke. No, Eastern Province is big. Eastern Province
and the Kundas.
Yeah. And the Kundas, yes. So all this point. That's why I'm very passionate about our One Zambia, One Nations thing, because we are one people. And that's why.
So when you say Mulitiani, what language is that?
Mulitiani is Chewa.
That's Chewa, yes.
That's Chewa.
Bwanji?
Bwanji, that's your Lusaka Nyanja.
That's a Lusaka thing.
All right. So go ahead, Mr. Nirenda.
Yeah, okay. With me, I just want to, it's just a submission. You know, all this thing which is going on, I think the best is when people raise on 12th August, I think that's the only solution. We just need to vote against these people. These people are dangerous. You know, they've done a lot. That's even ECZ. I think they can't help us because ECZ is with them. So even all these, even all these judges they put, they are with them. The best solution we have for now.
That is, when you say ECZ is with them, it's going to discourage some people from actually going to vote. So what I would rather see is that we motivate as many people as possible to actually go and cast their ballots. What do you think, Mr. Nirenda?
Yes. Yeah, you are right. You are right. You are right. But you know, this I don't know how to put it. But the truth is, we need to campaign. We need to campaign. We need to sensitize people that this what is going on. We just need to vote out these people. That's the solution.
Mr. Nirenda, can I give you my view?
Yes.
In 1991, Kaunda, everybody was unique. And they thought that everybody, the army, the police, and everywhere, they thought they were, when people decide that there's change, there's going to be change.
Yeah.
Yes.
When people decide that it's time to change, like now, if we all agree that it's time to change, there's nothing ECZ can do, there's nothing which the police can do, but it's possible for them to go and create, for instance, ghost polling stations, which we won't know. It's possible.
Yes.
Right.
And so the Zambians have to be alert. And for me, if I had my way, no ballot box should be flown in a Zambia Air Force plane to anywhere. They must be counted on the spot. That's what I can tell you. It happened in 1991. Everybody thought it was with Kaunda. If people say no, they should be able to say no. But let's keep our eyes open. Let's keep our ears open, because it's going to be this is going to be like 1991.
Okay. I think I agree. Mr. Nirenda, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the general. I agree with the general. Yes. I'm not the soldier, but on this one, I'll volunteer myself to monitor these elections. I'll be moving nearby station, all these nearby polling stations. I'll be doing that.
My message, Nirenda, is when you vote, don't leave the polling station. Look after your polling station.
Yes.
Because there's no law. The law says you should not go into the polling station. You must only be 100 meters away from the polling station. So you vote, don't go home until your vote is counted.
Yeah, that can be practical.
I think that's a good,
Of course, we are encouraging people to listen to ECZ, and for the parties particularly to work together with ECZ to see that they enforce all these requirements. Very important, right?
Exactly. But what we're saying, Musha, is that we're not going to allow the ECZ chairman to announce results which are from nowhere.
No, that's not going to be
what
allowed.
he did with the Lundazi, that should not be allowed.
Yeah,
that can't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nirenda.
Naonga chomeni.
Naonga kuru.
Sono mbanga bwaira kulanda shena timugone bwino.
Mugonenge makora.
Mugone makora.
Mugonenge makora.
Yewe.
Wise man.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
We have Mr. Norman Chipakupaku, also known as General.
I've seen General. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Fine, sir. First of all, I've got a question for General and Mr. Mushatlaj. When you say the soldiers cannot act without the command from the commander-in-chief, who is the president, how true is that? Are you telling me the soldiers who acted in Zimbabwe, it is Mugabe who told them, come and remove me from this chair? We have seen soldiers who have acted.
Let me tackle that. That was unconstitutional. In our country, the army is regulated by the Defense Act, and the commander-in-chief has to give orders. If they act without a commander-in-chief, that's illegal. You'll be court-martialed. So I served in an army which is professional. Our army is very, very professional. They cannot interfere. Remember, a few years ago, they were ordered to go and clean up the streets.
Yes, I remember.
there was an order from the commander. He has to sign it. He has to authorize it.
So,
what you saw in Zimbabwe, that's not a professional army. A professional army will never interfere unless given orders by the president. This is where I have a problem with the president of Zambia. He's got the powers. He knows the problem, but he is dragging his feet because the cadres benefit him.
No, those cadres, I think the reason why he can't act, because if you have followed them very closely, they are not mentioning any MP, not even a councillor. They are mentioning that all what we are fighting for is ECL. So they are they are using that name for them to have the security wing when it comes. So it can't do anything unless if those cadres they had camps whereby they say, me, I'm supporting Boma and Lusambo, this one given Lubinda, then the president can act. But as long as they are saying all these members of parliament for us, they're not important. All whom we are fighting for is ECL, and that one he can do. But again, a question to the gen: what if the president misbehave or maybe do something against the constitution? Are you telling me now that our soldiers, they can't do anything unless we told them, no, Papa, I've messed up, come and do something against me? Are you sure that kind of a thing can happen?
Well, my straight answer is that he has to follow the constitution. If he violates the constitution, that's a different story. But that's why the impeachment is there. That's why the parliament is there. The army cannot. Our professional army cannot. I'm a former soldier, and I saw with the Bible and that flag, our professional army will never. What happened with Solo was illegal.
Are you aware that our president did that previously, where he misled the nation that the minister should stay in office? Meanwhile, the constitution does not allow that.
That's a constitutional matter.
Those are political questions and legal questions. They're not. You don't bring in the military to resolve those.
That's a constitutional matter.
No,
if he violated the constitution, and he had, I'm sorry, I have to be very frank here. If he violated any constitution and he loses power, they can take his immunity out and he can face the law.
Yeah.
You are the lawyer.
Yeah, I'm a student of Mr. Musha indirectly, so I have to understand such kind of activities because I want to be like him when I reach that age. So I have to be a good lawyer.
My view, if he violates the constitution and is out of power, they can take his immunity and he can face the court.
Musha,
So for me,
So at the moment, the question really is whether, and there are some people in our country who think that the military is a solution to our political problems.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Now, that is why when you, Mr. Chipakupaku, was mentioning the military to sort out the gangs, that's why I had to push back.
I think I've made it very, very clear, Musha. And to the Zambians, can you listen to me? If you have got we trust the police. If you trust the police, they can deal with any situation. When that trust is gone, that's a different story. The trust with the Zambia police is gone. People have been shot during the day. Lawrence Banda was shot. Mapulo was shot. People were gassed. People have lost trust in the police. That's a very serious indictment on the police. The president himself does not have confidence in the police. How can you then use the same people to go and clear the cadres who are supporting the president? That can't happen. That's why in my case, the solution is for the president to sit up and man up, order the police the army to clear up this. Then we can go for fair elections.
All right. Okay, I agree. On those points, I agree.
So as I'm winding up, me on that point, I agree with my lecture, Mr. Comrade Musha, where I said you shouldn't allow the army to come in. We have to trust the police because if you have seen these cadres where they began, they start first with reaching the powers on themselves. From there, they stop fearing their leaders. From there, they stop fearing the police officers. So now imagine when this cadre now reach the extent of stop fearing the soldiers, where are we going to rush to? So for me, I think we need to keep that tool of a soldier to be on a special side, so that even these armies, if they are misbehaving, they know that there is one group of army which we have never even attempted to fight with.
I think what you are trying to say, Chief Elish, is that what you are saying?
No,
in our army, they can't even try. They can't even try because the army is the professional army. It's a matter of the president commanding them to clean up. They'll clean up. Let me wind up backwards. The police tried to take action in Sesheke. What happened?
Yeah, they were fired in national interest.
They were fired in the national interest. What signal is that sending? What message is the president sending?
Yeah, no. I agree with you. I have a problem with the presidency of President Edgar Lungu. Tabateka wino ba Lungu. So that is what the issue is. The only issue is that it's the problem with the police. The problem is with the president.
Wow. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
he's a commander-in-chief who's failing to command. Finish.
Right, I agree. Wise man, thank you as always. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
All right, Timmy H. Now you tell me, we had a Mr. Nirenda here, and now we have you.
Oh yes, yes.
So welcome.
Hey, naonga. Muri uli?
Chipakupaku.
Hey, General, uli uko?
Kulimakora.
Nyana. Let me cut straight into English for the sake of the masses. First of all, I think you made a mistake somewhere where you said Militia, and what language is that? That's Nsenga. In Chewa, you say
Militia in Nsenga.
It's Nsenga, General. And then if you get it down to Chewa, which is Kwenda Motani, Mulimotani. That's the Chewa version, yeah. So the Eastern is quite a broad, diverse sort of thing, but the most wisest people from there. No, I am not. I'm from Lundaz. I'm not from Chipata myself. I'm not from Fort James. So
box one.
Dada naonga.
Yes, please.
Yes, I've got a question for you, Council, and I will sort of concur with General at some point. But before I start going in line with General, I've got a question with regards to the affidavits. You did allude to the fact that the ECZ has got the honors to alter, change, or scrap off a line on it without any consultance with anybody. Where is it stated in the electoral law that they've got that capacity to do things at the 11th hour, alterations of affidavits?
Of the form?
Yes, please. Because you stated to say in an affidavit.
The same laws that empower them to create affidavits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have the law to create an affidavit which is ultra vires the Constitution.
That's too complicated, and we don't have enough time. Okay. Now I just want to answer general legal questions. Okay. The question that will be decided in this petition is this is a constitutional court application.
Yes.
And so essentially what the applicants are doing, they called applicants, the petitioners are doing, is they're trying to enforce their understanding of what the affidavit should have. So here is the problem. They're trying to get at Lungu, but they're trying to use subsidiary auxiliary issues to get at Lungu. That is going to be difficult at law.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're using what is known as collateral attack. So you can't get a person on the substance of the law because the judges have already decided. So you are looking for things like forms, auxiliary, and all these forms in order to attack the substantial decision of a court. This is why I'm saying it's pretty difficult. I'm sorry. These are very well-educated and very great constitutional scholars, but I disagree, you know, because they're using all this to attack a substantive decision of court. I'm sorry.
So all in all, what you're saying, Counsel, is that the fact that the Constitutional Court, which is the highest court in the land in Zambia as it stands, if it makes a decision, whether it's wrong or right, it stands. No one can refute, object, or oppose it in any way, shape, or form. Is that what you're saying?
No. We are widening this question. This is not a very big, complicated question.
Okay.
This is the problem I have, because we are putting it in terms of a very big question. What was decided in the Danny Pule case does not change what the Constitution says. In other words, we are not going to have a person who is sworn in twice or serves twice again in future. The only issue that we have is that we are dealing with this gentleman who straddles two constitutional terms.
Okay.
How are we going to deal with this particular person or this particular term? That was the question that was answered. And the Constitutional Court could have answered it either saying, we are not going to use Constitution 2016 to interpret him, or we are going to use Constitution 2016 to interpret him. They used Constitution 2016 to interpret it. It's not a big deal.
Well, whatever it is, constitutionally or no constitutionally, for me, I want Mr. Lungu out.
Yes, through the ballot, definitely. Through the ballot,
definitely.
Yes.
Me too.
Let me just add on one or two things with regards to what the general had put across. With regards to the forces, I've served in the forces myself. I've been to different countries. What role does the army play? Various roles. However, it's at the command of the commander-in-chief. Like ourselves here, it's Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah.
However, sometimes the prime minister can give, depending on situation prevailing, to say this, the army should move in on emergency purposes. Now, with regards to cadreism, the last time I did allude to the fact that the forces might be used for it, but the discretion of the commander-in-chief. However, with the current regime, we've got a lot of incompetence and inadequacies, ineptitude of the highest order. We don't expect a solution. For you, Counsel Moshe, you are a clergyman. And you know, our Lord Jesus Christ gave us authority, says you need to bind the strong man. The only ultimate solution, what I think as it stands now, is divine intervention, where we just pray to arrest the forces of darkness behind the scourge of evil, or the evil behind violence. We can only pray that the Prince of Peace reigns on that day, on the election day. That's it. Otherwise, expecting something sensible from, forget it. It's not coming to us.
I agree. I'm a man. Mr. Chipakupaku, do you know that I'm a preacher? I'm a Pentecostal preacher.
He knows, yes, he does.
I know, Counsel. I know. I have known that for a long time that you are a priest and a Pentecostal preacher, like the Pentes, like Chiluba FTJ.
Is that some sort of a mockery or something?
I'm a Pentecostal like FTJ.
Yeah, you need to pray.
There's crookedism involved.
And then do things which were completely opposite the following day. That's fine. Yeah.
I'm taller.
That's the only difference. Now let's go to his point.
Oh yes.
I'm a Christian.
Oh,
I
thank
believe that God can intervene. But God does not want you to just pray for the sake of praying in a situation where you can see danger.
Hallelujah.
Our country, I'm old enough to have seen danger.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'm old enough to have seen danger. And when there's danger, I can see it.
All right.
Zambia is now in a situation which is very, very dangerous. More dangerous than it was in 1991. More dangerous than it was in 2011 when they were changing government. We are now even more dangerous. Why? There are more arms in the hands of cadres, a lot of pangas in the hands of cadres. Most dangerously, there's a lot of money in the hands of cadres.
Oh, yeah. Right. See, one of the things.
Combination.
One of the things, General, is that we are on internet air here. And one of the strengths of a broadcaster or moderator on radio is to manage time.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, as far as time is concerned, I'm doing a very poor job.
No, you ain't. You ain't.
No,
if you're saving a papers, then let it be.
I need to tell you.
You're the moderator, sir. You're the moderator. You're the moderator, sir.
Cutting you off because the critic wants you to continue speaking.
No. All right, I'm gonna back off myself and leave the platform for you and other people to come on. But I've got one request for Comrade Norman. Comrade Norman, please, with all due respect, follow me on Twitter. I'm gonna follow you back. Thank you so much.
Have you followed me? I also
we are friends on Twitter.
Please don't ignore me.
No, we are friends already, Mbuya. Tulekonkanya ku Twitter imwe. I always mock you on Twitter. You mock me back.
I think even Comrade. So anyone who is on Twitter, please follow us. My name, Elias Musha, Timmy H. And what is yours?
Very easy. It's Norman Chips. That's all.
Norman Chips. Okay. Mr. Kibubi. Okay, bye. Ba Kibubi epo mudi. Ellison Kadilo Kibubi. Can you hear us?
He's mute, I think.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear
you.
He's mute.
You know, I think what I think by this time, yes, we can pray as we are Christians, like Balabatara and then, but it takes if we want to. God will never come down from heaven polling station not to vote. It is us to vote. And then last. But we find that some problem. And that's why being a prayers, that's why even the PF body capitalize on people's ignorance through Christianity.
Yeah.
Because but if seminar knowing that nangu bado fyanya to alala ndaka chawe tuli na Kristu bale keni fiesha shan mamwe but effort for the kuishi batakwati nifo bofwebene ukuwamye chalo chesu not to kulera tyo like bambi balanda tyo mwana lesanga isio kwa chalo. No, it is us fwebene. That's why pira na mkuvota. Yes, we are case atakese mkuni na polling station. Hello, another thing, but PF, what they are trying to do is they are trying to do everything as long as fiala basta benefit. You get my point. And then nangunia in a violence to them but president state because it's like there's some things that if you're Shiva, that's why they can even behave anyhow and the president will have no say about it. Because in the Chakorat, if you want to feel clean, feel but to we not like who are the corruption free. Who are the time ministers to them? But if I was kusa mchitashi udaveni out to time can't stop time fishy, but if I feel to monati out, now I'm time for you.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you.
Which could be a PF. That's about it.
Young freak, Wakibubi, the Kenny Chipakupaku, they respond. Alain, now Mumfefil and did by Wakibubi.
I was trained by Chinese philosophers many years ago. And that's why at times they say religion is the opium of the mind. The Zambian government the Zambian government, that's why they created that Ministry of Religious Affairs. They want to use the Bible to soften us. And the Zambians have taken to that, and they, you know, God will not come and send his son, Jesus Christ, to come and vote for us or rescue us again. That will never happen. So I totally agree with you. And I was trained by the Chinese many years ago. That philosophy, that teaching. I'm a Christian, but I think at times I agree with the Chinese that the religion tends to soften the mind. That's what PF is doing through Ministry of Religious Affairs.
Yeah. Okay. We have a presentation here. June 20 was presented as a legal document, and affidavit is a legal requirement. Okay, yes, of course. I'm not saying that affidavits are not legal requirements, for goodness sake. That's not what we are saying, right? We are not saying that affidavits are not legal requirements. What we are saying is that the nature of the affidavit itself, so you cannot use an affidavit as a way to substantively plead someone's rights in a presidential petition, right? Because it's not an affidavit that gives you substantive rights or substantive positions as far as the law is concerned. An affidavit is something where you are saying that I qualify. Basically, that's what you are doing. And then you sign as an affidavit. So it can't go against the Constitution. It can't give you rights that the Constitution does not give you. And it can't replace the Constitution. That's what we mean when we say an affidavit is not... what did we even say about the affidavits? Whatever we said.
We think it was an administrative document.
Yeah, it's an administrative document. It's a legal document, but it's an administrative document, so to speak. It's like the misunderstanding, General Chipakupaku, about the NRC. I do get some of these feelings where people think that the NRC is a proof of citizenship. And what I tell them is, no, an NRC is a document that registers. So it's a proof of your registration of citizenship. So by the mere fact that you have an NRC does not necessarily mean that then you have proved that you are a Zambian, because you could be a Zambian even if you did not have an NRC. But an NRC is a registration of your citizenship. It's a proof of your registration. And in fact, that's why we have three NRC colors. We have green, pink, and blue, I think.
Yeah, and then stroke 1, stroke 2, and stroke 3.
And stroke 3, yeah. Anyway, so those are important things. So the fact that we have a legal document, an administrative legal document, does not mean that that document then becomes or replaces the law. It doesn't replace the law. In fact, you can even sue when an affidavit is administered to you, which goes against the Constitution, right? So you can say that a policy or an administrative document or something that the government is asking you to review is not actually required by the law. That's what we mean. And so as far as that affidavit is concerned, I know that there could be misgivings. In my opinion, it was not even necessary for the ECZ to change the affidavit. Because Lungu could have still gone ahead to swear that affidavit and qualify for the presidency. And then those that are thinking that they could have gotten him on affidavits, gosh. So it means then that people are just going into finding a way to use collateral means. You know, soldiers have a better way to call it, right? You fail to do the substantive things, and then let's thinking that what you are doing, if you're Mumbadi, you are actually attacking the target.
No, there's what we call it in the military. You set ambushes so that you get them by surprise. And I think ambushes at times work when you take the enemy by surprise. I think these are the ambushes. And if you're a hunter, you set a lot of traps, so that when you are lucky, you might end up catching the animal using a different trap.
Unfortunately, in the law, the law is going to frown on that. Yeah. So if it's Lungu you want, use the law to catch him. You don't go to affidavits and you know all these things. It's like Chiluba. you remember the Chiluba case, Lewanika. In fact, we are going to bring Akashamba Tombikosita Lewanika soon here. And the questions that I really have for Aka is, how did they prosecute the Chiluba case? So just from the case itself, obviously, Chiluba had committed several offenses as far as affidavits are concerned. Because on one affidavit, he saw that his father was from Mwense. On a different affidavit, he saw that his father was from Kawambwa.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for Aka. It will be very interesting.
I want to find out. Anyway, so even when there is all these inconsistencies in Chiluba's affidavits, the court did not even address itself to the inconsistencies. All they said was, well, it doesn't matter whether Chiluba's father was from Kawambwa, from Mwense, or from Mozambique, or was a Congolese Kafupi. It doesn't matter. Chiluba is a Zambian. And so that's how they gave him the presidency back. Anyway, thank you very much. We are now at 15 minutes past whatever. An hour, 15 minutes. We've got to end here.
Yeah, I think
everything comes to an end. General Chipakupaku, you know that. You are far older than me, so you probably know that, right?
Well, there is a saying that when you overdo anything, it becomes, you tend to lose the test. So I think this is more than enough. To me, my final word is that the biggest trap is the big vote on the 12th of August.
Exactly. Yeah. So indeed, on May 4, 2021, from TV Bakwetu, from me here in Calgary, and from Mr. Norman Chipakupaku in Scotland. Scotland, right?
Yes, Scotland.
From Scotland, we wishing you all the best. Please like us, share our page, send us stars, and do all the good things that you do on every page. Remember, here we just talk, we discuss ideas. We don't have a lot to show. And so our growth, our page's growth is steady, but please share with as many people as possible. It's been a pleasure having Mr. Chipakupaku back. Very soon we are going to be bringing in quite a lot of exciting presenters and participants like Akashamba Mbikosita Lewanika, Mr. Akashamba, Dr. Mbikosita Lewanika, and several others. And Dr. Kasonso is coming back as well. Thank you very much for joining us here. God bless you and God bless our country. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.